Hello and welcome to Beyond the Rift. I am your host, DeamonMachine, and this is my co-host, Revel.
Yo.
We'll be going over the Smite news of the week right this minute, while I turn off my music.
Yes, we will.
And, so, looking at the news, the patch has been released. Anybody that doesn't know that yet lives under a rock, and a very heavy one, apparently. Next, the patch, they weren't too specific as to when they were releasing it. They said that they were probably going to release it. They were going to try for tomorrow, but if not, it would be next week. So if it doesn't hit tonight, then you're SOL for the tournament. If it does hit tonight, then you are again SOL for the tournament because all of that changes will be, happening.
Thanks for that.
Yes. And so basically we'll be getting a new mode. We'll be getting the domination mode, not dominion mode.
Looks
domination
freaking
mode.
awesome.
It's very fun. It's a capture the point mode, so it'll be very entertaining. It should cut the time between arena and conquest, so it'll be about 20 minutes roughly for a game. And so, wait for that. It'll be enjoyable. Also, not Hercules this patch, but he is going to be the next available god.
Not horde mode.
Right, not horde mode. Also, any gods will be available for ban because they're going to start a 5-god rotation. Yay!
Yay! They caved
on
to the
top
pressure.
of the free gods. Yes, they caved into my pressure. On top of the free gods that you get now with the the normal 5 free, they're going to include 5 more. So you'll get 10 gods to choose from for free. That's amazing.
Yeah,
I love it.
especially when there aren't
It's
even
going to
30
be a
gods.
big boost to the player base because you won't have to farm for 16 levels to buy one god and then go, I still can't play the one I want because he's 5,500 favor or whatnot. So, whew.
Feel better?
Yes, I do. Also, in some player news, Spray Iron is now the official 6th member of Bipolar Method. Yay. Anatoly joined Juice Gaming, leaving BLG NA to join them, which is all well and good. So, we had a nice conversation with that. Lassiz, of course, from Recent Gaming, there was some tension there. They had he was going to leave, and then he's not going to leave. And so now he's going to play as a starter, but he's going to have a permanent substitute for whenever he cannot attend because of streaming, because he now streams for Hi-Rez.
Yes.
Yay, Lassiz! Congratulations to you. Other than that, we have started our mentoring system. We being BLG in general. Not NA or EU, just BLG. I'm so
Borderland Gaming.
Borderland Gaming.
BLgaming.com.
Has started our mentoring system. So if you want to get better at the game, people like Stermes and Alecyte and maybe Zapman, if he wants to join in, will be happy to take you under their wing and teach you some things and let you, give you some tips on how to improve your match. And Stermes has been doing it for me, and holy crap, I killed Shing 3 times, and I was so happy. It was great. After we played that match, I was 8-4 that match, and we beat Shing and Allied, and I just cannot stop talking about
I've
that.
been hearing about it all week.
Yes, and so I told Dmbrandon about that, and he felt the need. He's like, "Oh God, this is gonna be great." So shall we join our guests now for interesting conversation? Interesting conversation. We have the Stermes, Alecyte, Lionheart, and Zapman from Procore Gaming.
Indeed.
How have you guys been this lovely day?
Cold.
Pretty good.
Don't take it away, anybody. Just it's okay. I'm cool.
Yeah.
Alecyte, how you been doing? You have a good Thanksgiving?
I guess okay. I mean, again, I lost money on poker for Thanksgiving, but today has been average, I guess. I don't know. Nothing special ever happens to me.
Wow, that's pretty depressing, dude.
I know.
Yeah, way to start
Like, bring food down for me, man, and I'm not even playing poker.
It's like nothing special ever happens to me. My life.
Nothing special ever happens. Just kind of sit here all day. Oh, we put up a Christmas tree in the school, but that's about it.
Oh. Exciting
I mean,
stuff. How about you, Stermes? How's your non-holiday
non-holiday
because
holiday?
you don't live in the United States?
Us Canadians don't have Thanksgiving.
No.
Other than that, it's been pretty good. Just same old stuff every day. Been playing
busy being-
Torchlight lately. Got that on Steam.
Torchlight or
Them
Torchlight 2?
sales.
Torchlight 2.
Torchlight. Them sales so strong.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. Great game. It's a lot of fun.
It is. Lionheart,
Way
how
more
you
fun
doing?
than Diablo, which is sad.
I got a lot of work dropped on me today, so
Gonna be
I
in and
pretty
out.
much have determined that my weekend is going to be casting Smite and working on Law, and that's all I'm going to do. So
And that makes you very sad.
I wish I was losing poker.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'd rather be losing money at poker than doing work all night. I'll definitely go with that.
Yes. Zapman, how are you doing today? It's been a while since you've been with us.
Yeah, I've been good. Thanksgiving was good. I got to spend a lot of time with the family. Didn't play Smite for about 4 days. It was a good break.
Felt good.
Did you go into withdrawal at all, or was it just like, oh, yeah, I don't have to do it right now?
No, it was a good break. Came back and felt like I just started playing the game again, like brand new. So it was a lot of fun.
Cool. So you sucked, right? I mean, if it was brand new.
Yeah, brand new, I was decent. So.
Yeah,
Right.
brand new, decent. It took him a little while to get back into his stride. I love that artwork behind you, by the way.
Yes.
Oh yeah, the naked girl.
Yeah.
That's my inspiration.
Yeah.
Mhm, it is.
Mm-hmm. Good
Every
artwork.
day you stare at it, and we'll leave it at that.
Yeah.
So,
gigantic patch notes.
holy patch is what I titled that as.
Mm-hmm.
Holy patch. Where should we start? I guess at the top after I get my patch
I'm not
notes
sure
loaded
about
up.
us starting at the top.
What?
I
But
think
that's
we should.
not the interesting part.
Yes.
That's why you get it out of the way
Alecyte-
right now.
Alecyte, start at the interesting part.
At the interesting part?
Yeah,
Yes.
because
I-
it's obviously not
I
the
guess
top.
we'll go to the most. I mean, we'll start in the mediumly controversial. I mean, stuff. Mostly we'll start at the abilities, I guess.
All right.
You know, creeping curse. The slow was reduced and the cooldown was increased by, I'm trying to think, 90 seconds, I think, to 150.
Yep.
Hands of the Gods, damage done to minions is reduced, and the passive is changed, so you take less damage from jungle minions. It's just kind of changed around, I guess, so not exactly a nerf. And the heavily agility gets a little bit stronger, but the duration is lower, makes you immune, and the cooldown is insane now.
Yeah.
And then I guess the rest of them. Meditation was changed a lot, actually. It's so that you only heal, or you get the passive when you're less than 40%.
yeah.
And it just, I guess, your mana regeneration is doubled. So if you have a lot of mana regeneration, that helps. But if you have less than, I guess, 7.5, it's less than what the passive was before.
yeah.
Purification beads removes pools, and sprint gets changed a lot less. It was like 15 before. It's now down to 6.
Yeah. Yeah. Sprint lasted a long
No, sprint
time.
was not. Sprint
It
was,
was-
so the
Was
tooltip
it?
was bugged on sprint. Sprint was actually 10 seconds before.
Yeah.
I know it said it was 14, but it wasn't. It was actually 10.
Yeah. So it's
just remember
been
being
nerfed by about
confused.
40% of the
Yeah.
length of time, and the cooldown's been increased a lot, which is good because it was way too strong.
Yeah.
How it was.
You turned on sprint and you just said bye.
yeah.
It was nice knowing you. And
And
I
then
hope
you
that
just
they
kept
maybe
going and going.
I hope
and
that they
going.
kind of fix the sprint's animation a little bit. Because every once in a while you see that sprint line that, follows people. It just like shoots out across the map. It's like, whoa, you went really fast. And then it kind of like catches back up to
They
where
went
you are.
Super Saiyan.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah. That's the alternate toggle of the ability. Yeah. You missed that one? Stermes didn't tell you? Stermes. Man.
Apparently.
You're terrible. So purification
off.
beads will now remove pools again. Remove pulls, not pools.
Yes,
but
it
pulls.
should have removed pools the whole time.
Yes, it should have
Really,
removed
honestly.
pools.
Really,
Yeah.
guys.
I mean, if it purifies you, then technically.
Yeah. Lionheart?
I don't know. It's changing the meta. I mean, I guess it's not changing as much as it was before.
It's
They
giving
tried
you
to do
options.
something. I like it. It's mostly Hands of the Gods that came in and was like, I guess
Yeah.
Hands and Sprint are the main things. Hands was like, oh, we're taking over the entire meta again, just
Mhm.
like
Oh
early
my
beta.
god. Yeah.
And it's not going to be any different now. It's didn't really change anything at all. It still gives you insane sustain early game, and it still kills those minions. So we're back to the 4 Hands of the Gods meta again.
Yay.
Yay. So,
Well, I think that'll be killed with the next patch, but
why?
because Hand of the Gods
I'm
next
so
patch
hungry.
doesn't give you sustain,
Yeah.
doesn't give you damage. In fact, it actually the
Kinda
passive
failed.
actually really doesn't give you anything.
No, it really
It,
doesn't.
it reduces damage from the large minion in the creep camp. I mean,
Ooh.
I think if you kill
Yay.
it with your teammate, you'll be able to handle that large minion just fine. So the real benefit to it was the active, and as you could see, people previously, before it got that passive buff, wouldn't purchase it just for the active because Girdle of Might does what the active does just fine and has more teamfight utility. And I think that's what we'll see if people feel that they still need something to clear those early creep camps. And I don't know that they will. Again, creep camps are getting hit pretty hard on EXP. But if you feel that you still need to clear those early creep camps, with at level 1 and you don't think you can do it with just your teammates, you'll probably see Gorilla might make a comeback.
Yeah, and the EXP reduced from this creep camps is by 50%. So a lot.
Not just a little bit. And so one thing I thought was funny was
basically the buff, not for EXP.
Yeah, you're getting
Right.
it for the buff.
Yeah,
And-
which is I think what it should have been in the first place, but
yeah, and so you saw these people in the chat when we were watching it on stream. They're like, "Oh no, junglers!" And we're like, "What are you talking about? There were no junglers in the first place."
Yeah. They're like, we
How
can't
dare
jungle.
you? I tried to make that role viable.
I know you tried really,
Oh my
really
gosh.
hard.
He was like, "You're gonna ruin jungling at Smite." I'm just like, dude, have you never heard of me? Have you not read anything I posted in the last like 6 months? Are you serious? It drives me nuts.
It happens,
Yeah.
man.
It does.
How about you, Zapman? What's your thoughts on it?
I really want to see how the XP nerf affects laning. Like, is it better to stay in lane and not miss a couple of creeps to get the jungle buff like we used to do before, or is it better to get the creeps in the wave over the jungle buffs? So I mean, it really depends. I gotta see. I gotta see how quickly we can do the buffs with one hog, opposed to like having a girdle and how much damage we take and how many pots we have in a certain build. So it depends. We gotta do a lot of testing tomorrow if the patch comes out tomorrow.
And 10% additional speed, don't forget.
That's true, yeah.
That's going to
I
be
mean, everyone's
huge.
gonna have it, so you really
Huge.
just gotta be wary of ganks and things like that. And it'll be harder to gank people too.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, I think
Well-
that's a really, really interesting change that they did. They just gave everybody 10% more speed, which I feel like I'm like some sort of commercial. But 10% more speed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You get 10% just for nothing. Yay!
But yeah, and the projectile speeds for magic attacks have gone way up. So that's going to be a whole new learning curve for a lot of people
Yep.
as well.
Might be nice for Zeus.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it'll be really nice for a lot of gods because they were really, really slow before.
You could almost dodge them when you saw them.
Yeah.
except the
could?
fact that everyone's moving up 10%, so they get out of your ult 10% faster.
Yeah.
True.
Just saying. I mean, that's
Yeah.
a big thing to
Yeah,
think
that-
about. Like with
It is.
AoEs, especially like Ao Kang, someone brought it up on the forums. If you're 10% faster, you might be able to barely miss the first tick
First
of
tick
his
of it.
tornadoes or
Yep.
something like that.
Or might be able to just make it out of Ymir's. Exactly.
Yeah. So they're thinking I have to go with it.
Interesting.
Yeah, along with the EXP thing, it's really weird because they're upping the movement speed so you can go gank a whole bunch, but then they're taking down the buff EXP. So usually when people ganked, they would usually go try and get a gank off, maybe grab a buff, steal the enemy's buff if they could. But now they're gonna lose so much EXP if they fail the gank, especially they're gonna gain no EXP and they're gonna be
Yeah.
super far behind. So it seems like they're kind of mixed. I don't know, what they're doing is kind of mixed on the subject.
Do you think that maybe this would have been a good change to do one at a time? Like, let's start with the 50% reduction in EXP and then do the movement speed later, or vice versa? To increase the movement speed first, which is what I would have done, I guess. Movement speed first. See how that changes everything. And then if you see that they're just running around getting every damn, the buffs, then it's like, well, we got to tone them down some.
I don't think they should have done that. I don't know. They need to do something to promote, I guess, aggressiveness. Buffs should be not worth that much in the first place, but they need to promote ganking, I think.
I think the speed will really help that.
Yeah, I do agree.
Yeah.
That was the whole goal, right? The speed and then the increase on tower health was designed strictly to allow you to be able to gank.
Yeah.
I mean, whether or not it's going to be effective, you're going to have to test it out and see. But that was
Yeah.
That was
whole purpose.
specifically why they were saying it, because they were like, they wanted to be able to give you the ability to leave your tower and it not go down in 5 seconds, to try and give it that extra little bit of time so you don't feel quite as, holy crap, if I leave this lane, my tower is done.
right.
Towers
I
have
was
had the
good-
health
you're right.
increase.
That was specifically what Erez and Bart were talking about. And yes, anybody who was watching the stream, that was high-res Erez behind Bart there with the OP sunglasses. He's the owner of the company. So
Yo.
he'll just sit back there and like Bart will have a question and he'll just be like, "This is what's going to happen because whatever I say is how it happens." So
Yeah.
it was rather interesting to see that going on.
And the Thor changes. I see
Oh,
a
dear
lot
God.
of people talking about the Thor changes.
Who would like to take that?
Let's go Stermes. He's over there in a yellow hoodie. It seems reasonable.
Don't judge it.
Don't judge my hoodie.
right now it looks like a lot of people are really looking at the Thor patch like it's gonna be like he's gonna be a broken god after it. And I don't know, it's something like when Thor first came out, there were people screaming he's gonna be OP, right?
Yes, they were.
Yes,
Literally
yes, they
screaming.
Who are those people?
I wonder.
I don't know. I don't know who you're talking
It
about.
could be like another one of those things where it looks OP with the numbers, but then again, it's just Thor.
Mm.
Yeah.
Yeah, and the big thing was the for you guys who can't see it, they buffed his tectonic rift by a fairly ridiculous amount. They gave it a fairly good amount of damage, 235 base at the top level, and instead of slowing you, now stuns you. So
Yeah.
that's cool. Granted, I'm not sure like what the radius is going to be. Do you have to actually hit them with it to stun them? Because that's not going to be terribly easy.
Yeah.
Not the most.
It could be the range of the slow, maybe.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking.
Mm-hmm.
Because otherwise, it's not going to be terribly easy to hit.
Too true. We lost Lionheart somehow.
Mm-hmm.
I think he said he had a call to take.
Oh, well, that's reasonable.
Reasonable.
Probably busy lawyering.
Reduce the amount of time. Warning time when Thor is visible for crashing down and ruining your day.
Yeah. So, I mean, if they turn that down some, then it's pretty much you see the ring, you better move really fast. And that's that.
I don't know. It's just my big thing is, I mean, how many people were asking for a Thor buff after the last buff? I mean, people
Yep.
are still trying him out. It was a whole new thing, you know,
I'm
getting
all
used
for
to
buffs.
the teleport. People are starting to get used to it and getting pretty good with it. And then all of a sudden, it's just kind of like he needs another buff. I don't know where it came from.
Yeah, yeah. Well, meh. I have to agree with you. Some of these you were like, wait, what? The
I don't know how I
Sobek,
got booted out of the call. Sorry about that.
I don't know.
it's
I thought the whole call went down. And then
No,
I
no.
refreshed the stream and you guys were all on, and I was like, what the hell?
gotta love that new
Sorry about
Skype,
that.
man.
I
New
know, it's
Skype.
the new Skype. It's terrible. I mean, like,
I have
Skype is
issues
OP,
with it.
dude. We gotta go to G-Chat.
Google Chat or Google Talk? Or is it actually...
Right.
Yeah, why not? We'll
Yeah.
try that eventually.
Yeah, not today.
Yeah, the demon.
How about we do it
estimates
right now?
Contacts.
Yes.
So, Cupid buff, or change, I should say.
Dick. Yeah, it's more like a change everything around.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
I don't know what reason exactly, but yeah.
So what's going on?
So
with
what
it?
did I miss?
We were talking about Thor a little bit.
Yeah.
Okay. What was the consensus? Just so I'm...
Stermes says he's not going to be OP.
Well, I never said
Zap
he's-
needs to say more. Okay, well, Stermes says try him out, I guess.
Just waiting for my turn, man.
Yeah, go for it, Zap, man. What's your thoughts on Thor?
I thought he's viable right now, and a lot of teams are just trying to work him in. I played a lot with him with Sparks, and he's definitely pretty strong in lane. I just didn't think they gave him enough time for people to start using him in comps. But with this 2 buff, he's definitely going to be used a lot more and frequently now. So, I mean, we'll see how it goes.
Yeah, he actually gets a viable CC.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was already viable, like, as soon as they gave him the teleport.
Mm-hmm.
Because everyone can just, like, run away from him and nothing would happen.
Yeah.
But now, you know, he can catch up to you. He has a gap closer. He has
Really?
his 2 to slow and block people's path, and he also has his ult, you know, in case he really needs it. So, I mean, this also gives him 2 stuns, which is, you know, pretty rare for a god to have.
Mm-hmm.
So he's definitely going to synergize well with a lot of CC gods. Also, Ra, too, with his heal. That makes Thor's abilities a lot stronger, too. So, I mean, we'll see how it works.
Very true.
Cool.
Cool.
I think, if I may,
You
No,
may.
you may
that
No. You're
he's
wearing
going
too
to
much
need
blue.
adjusting after the patch. I think that the change that they did was good because I really hated the fact that Wall didn't stun or deal damage. I like that change. That mechanic is not new. It's in other MOBAs, and I like it. But I think that they're going to need to tweak a little bit about how the damage works on his hammer and what I think would be a good change. This is just my suggestion. I don't know that this will be adopted or not, but I would like to see it where you can't get the double proc of the hammer teleport in, stun, and use your spin. That's too much synergy, I think, for his kit. I think that if you're going to be able to blink to the opponent, you have to blink before the hammer starts to return. So you either sacrifice some of your hammer damage, or and be able to close the distance, or you get the double proc, but then you need to run up to them to be able to hit them. And I think that might put him in a good spot. I don't know that his damage would be so ridiculous then, but right now, if you're in range of that wall, he's going to stun you, he's going to get the double proc, teleport to you, and be able to spin around you, and it's going to be ridiculous.
I mean, just think of a Thor Bacchus lane after this patch. How ridiculous it's going to be.
They won't be in the same game. One of them
They wouldn't even be,
right now, so, you know.
We were discussing before, Alecyte, that it's like nobody on any of the competitive teams even contemplates playing
I don't know about no
Bacchus.
one, but like some of the competitive teams are just like, Bacchus is insta-ban, we're not even allowing him to be in this game. He's not even an option.
Pretty much.
Zapman, do you feel the same way?
It's just 2 forms of hard CC with a lot of damage. So it makes this kit really strong early game. So, and, you know, give him health up too, and it's just, you know, you can't do anything to it. Can't do anything to that lane.
Yeah, that's very true. And to make it even more fun, you don't have to fully land his stun on anyone. It just has to hit at the end.
The last tick, yeah. And like, I don't think any god should have 2 forms of hard CC and still do a lot of damage. So I mean, that just makes him really strong early game, and really strong with the either green or a blue buff.
And reduce damage by a percentage, which is no.
Yeah, very strong.
Yeah.
Just no.
Yeah, I was kind of shocked to not see Bacchus in this patch notes at all. I was kind of expecting to see a little bit of maybe a nerf or some sort of change.
Yeah.
You guys surprised with that at all?
They're probably giving it more time, but I mean, it's pretty obvious how strong he is right now. So
I actually don't think it's that they're giving it more time. I think that they have limited resources, and I think that they were so focused on balancing out abilities because of all the complaints going on about high sustain that it was accidentally overlooked.
Probably.
I
Sounds
think
more
that's
reasonable.
more likely what happened.
So, did we talk about Cupid at all, or did we just kind of gloss over him?
No, we were about to go on him and then
Okay.
Yeah. So
pop back up.
So
Cupid.
Yes. What about Cupid, other than, like, they changed everything? Who would like to go over Cupid? Zapman?
I'll go. Yeah, I'll go.
Go for it.
I mean, that's another ranged AD that's we're not going to have anymore because now he's hybrid. And I guess they're trying to make Cupid like Freya, where you build them AD early because it scales better early in terms of, like, you know, harassing and clearing waves and stuff like that. And late game for the main damage, you go magic at the end. So I mean, I don't know how it'll work with Cupid, but you know, I look forward to seeing it. And maybe they should add more hybrid items too, if they're going to start changing gods to become hybrid.
Very true. Very true. Lionheart, would you like to go?
Yeah, I think that this move that we're kind of seeing towards hybrid, I mean, they announced that they were going to do that. I don't know. I have mixed feelings on it because, you know, hybrid is not something new to the MOBA genre. League of Legends tried to do it, and a lot of their hardcore hybrid champions are almost never used in competitive play because it's very difficult to balance a hybrid champion.
Sure.
I mean, there's some that you can build one way or the other that aren't hybrid, right? Like Ezreal can be built one way or the other, but you know, you look at something like this where they really mean hybrid, like they want you to get a little bit of both, and it becomes hard to really do that. I mean, usually what you see is one build is more dominant than the other, and that's the one that players will use. So
Yeah.
I think the change with Cupid's good. I'm excited to see it. I think Cupid's damage output, if he decides to build completely physical, is going to be a little bit lower. I think that it's not going to be as powerful if he builds all magical as some people have said. But I think he'll be in generally a good state after this patch.
I also like it because it's easier to put a AD mid, because usually if you put an AD mid, you want some kind of caster side lane or 2 casters side lane. So it just gives you another option to have, you know, now you can have Cupid side lane and an AD mid.
It's true.
So
I don't know. I don't like the way they're going. I'm gonna go hop in here with Lionheart. I don't like the way they're going with hybridization. How, you know, League has tried to do it, but it's just not even the hybrids themselves, but it's the itemization that becomes super hard to do. In early beta, Smite did have, I think, what was it called? Heaven's Will. It gave you physical power, magical lifesteal, and physical lifesteal. But it had to be one so expensive that to be worth all those stats, and no one can make use of it. So it's just the itemization is so hard. It's not even the making the gods balance. You have to make sure that these items aren't too strong, so that one class or the other, barely hybrid can buy it. But then you have to make it strong enough so that hybrids have an opportunity to buy it. So I just think it's not good enough. Like itemization is super hard, and I think that hybrid routes, I don't like the way they're going with it.
Well, and my understanding was that I felt like they wanted to go hybrid because they wanted more diversity in builds. Because there's not a lot of diversity in builds right now. Let's be honest. There's a few ways you build, like a ranged AD is like build almost the same like across the board. But the thing is that the reason why itemization is not very diverse right now isn't because you need to hybridize gods. It's because you have over 15 items in the game, well, that's 12 because they took out 3, that are almost never bought because they're just, for whatever reason, they're not good items.
Yeah.
And I think that it would have been a better choice to have not necessarily moved towards hybrid and maybe fixed items and then looked at where the game was before making the move to hybrid. I mean, you have to do one or the other first. They chose to go hybrid first, and that could pay off well. Just because League didn't make it work doesn't mean they can't. It's a different game. But I think that I would have preferred to have seen the items fixed and worked on and abilities fixed and worked on before taking a drastic route where you start changing the entire way gods work. I mean, I actually thought it was nice that, physical damage dealers in this game only scaled on physical damage. I liked that. Like, I liked that I didn't feel punished on my abilities because I was building all physical damage on a physical damage character, as where in another game like League, I can build physical damage and some of my abilities won't scale because they're meant to scale with magical power, and that sometimes that's frustrating. So it's like a give and take, I think.
Well, I'm going to kind of expand on or say something. I mean, you're saying the items aren't viable. A lot of it's not only just because, or I would say it's not because the items are bad, but just because the meta right now, I guess. Because right now, like I've said many times with mages, you don't go straight power. You go power with a whole bunch of protection, Gem of Isolation, Void Stone, Spirit of the Magus, stuff like that. So we have, Rod of Tahuti sometimes is bought, usually last item. Try to think of the Book of Thoth is never bought because it's pure damage. So it's just, I guess the meta that we're in is a problem here.
Well, but some of the items you're naming, they're picked up because they give you damage and survivability, right? The other items only give you damage, but like Spear of the Magus, I mean, why wouldn't you pick it up? It gives you magic penetration, which is huge. It gives you damage. It gives you health. So the problem there is that some items are giving you everything, but that won't change the fact like something like Jotun's Wrath is never going to be picked up by any character in the game. You know, even if these other items weren't as good, weren't your all rounded items where you can get everything that you need in one item, you still wouldn't, if it was separated, pick up Jotun's Wrath. Like, what's the point? So I think some of those items could be reworked, and I mean they've known for a while that Fatalis is not a favorite item. They haven't touched it, and I'm not really sure why. Maybe they like how it works with Freya and Zeus. I'm not sure, but there's in any event the items could use some work, and I would have liked to have seen that first before the hybrid thing. But the hybrid thing might work out. I mean, nobody's really they've just dipped into it. They just started it, and I think that they're smart enough where if they do it and we test it out and we decide, hey, this is bad, that they'll abandon it. I don't think that they'll stick with it. So and if we test it out and it ends up being great, then that's awesome because that means that Smite has done something that no other MOBA's been able to do.
Cool.
That was very, excuse me, long and
no, it was right on. It was right on point.
It was. I actually do believe that they're doing a very good job with the.
I like this patch.
I do.
It's like there's a lot of really interesting things in a lot of different ways. More ways you can play different gods. I like the fact that they're adding in pretty much damage to the vast majority of gods who had abilities that did stuff directly to you but didn't do damage. Like Ymir's Frost, for a great example. I mean, it's a stun, and now it actually does something to them.
Yeah, does a lot of damage.
You don't have to actually hit them. And Like use it and then be like, okay, well now what am I gonna do?
So is this going to make Ymir your go-to tank now, since Ymir does so much frost breath damage? 50, 90, 130, 170, 210, 50% of your magical power, magic damage. 60. Can you not read the numbers?
For Ymir,
sorry.
he's usually picked up a lot of the times in top tier competitive play, anyways, right?
Yeah.
He's really
So
good.
adding that onto him,
Just makes him
it's
more.
just- yeah, it's just another bonus to him.
Yeah.
bonus.
So that way that Ymir can stomp all over Juice like they did that one game.
Ymir's OP.
He is. He is. I'm sure Jerby will be happy to back you up on that one.
I think like Ymir having the kit that he has and the effect in a team fight that he has, that he can change the whole team fight, you know, with his wall or his freeze. Like
Mm-hmm.
you sacrifice the damage to have that kit.
Yeah.
But now that he has an extra, you know, nuke ability, his synergy in lane with Lionheart, Cupid, it's gonna be that much better. His team fights are gonna be that much better,
My
even though they're
God.
already super strong. So I mean, I think they're just, you know, making him way too strong. He was already always picked over Sobek, you know,
Sure.
and all these other
Especially
things. But
now.
now he's 100% gonna get picked, maybe even first pick now.
I don't know. Sobek's gonna be really strong early game with that passive. 45 physical power, level 1.
Yeah. I
I mean-
mean, it depends. It really
Yeah.
does.
You just hit something 3 times, and there you go.
True.
I mean, but that's not very hard
No.
unless you're on an EU server. Jeez.
All these changes just make it harder for like melee ADs and lane, honestly. Like
Yeah.
you get zoned out too much already.
Well, that's why you have 10% more speed.
Yep. You can run around faster. Does that mean now that they increase the speed of the creeps, or is it just
No,
the gods? So
Just the gods.
you can run
Just
that
the-
much faster than the creeps now.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Okay.
Well, I mean, then theoretically you could get to your level 1 buff and then get out to your lane 10% faster. So you could take that extra buff or whatever because you can get there faster. So yeah, we'll see how that works. It'll be quite
Good point.
interesting. Some of the other big changes, region settings. Holy crap. That's going to be great for a lot of people who are getting tired of being matched up on the North American server when they're playing in Europe, and vice versa when you're in North America and you're playing on Europe servers, even though you're all North American. It happens. So that'll be great. You can choose your preferred region, and it won't always match you in that region. That was one of the big things. It won't always match you in that region, but it'll match you where all of the players are. So if you're playing during prime time North American time, you're more than likely going to be in North America.
Wait.
So it'll be good. If everybody has the same preferred region, they'll choose that one. What other
Yeah,
interesting... Go ahead.
The only thing is, if you're the high elo or high or low elo EU players, then yeah, you're probably not going to get those, you know, preferred servers. At least not at prime time or prime time NA.
Well, at least this will ensure the fact that when they play against another EU team, that they will get their EU server. And it won't be
Oh yeah,
kind of a toss-up. Because it wouldn't have been the first time I played on a North American server, or on an EU server being all North Americans. Would not be the first. And they also increased the matchmaking, play to the matchmaking a lot more. The time you will spend in that matchmaking state where you're just kind of staring at nothing while it says matching has been drastically reduced. So you should be in the lobby much faster. Auto purchase settings are now saved server side. Yay! So you don't have to get in that first game after, you know, the patch and suddenly you have all this crap. You're like, what's going on? Why? I didn't want all that crap. And so that should drastically change their statistics that they get back on games, because all those games that people join that first time that they auto buy for the first 3 seconds of the game. Other than that, you will now receive party invitations outside of the game also, which is very handy. So that whole goosh, it scares the crap out of you when you, you know, are doing something else while waiting for your match to start, will now scare the crap out of you when somebody invites you. So, if you would really like to scare the shit out of your friends, just keep sending them invites all day long. That will not annoy them at all. Troll mode.
Demon
capital.
#1 griefing NA.
Yes, I will grief everyone. Oh, that's the potential on that is amazing. I just I sat down and think about that. That is great.
And that's why they have weekly patches.
Oh, nice. So yeah, other than that, they kind of cleaned up a lot of the UI and stuff like that, and then we went over all the god changes,
So,
etc.
there are tournaments this
Yes, there
weekend.
are. Alecyte, Lionheart, what are these tournaments that you guys will inevitably be casting this weekend? Who wants to go
Do you want me
first?
to cover this?
Yeah, you
Lionheart,
go.
like,
Sure.
Lionheart's
There's
turn.
2 tournaments going on this weekend. There's one on Saturday and one on Sunday. They're both in the morning if you're on stateside. Although depending on where you are stateside, I guess technically the Saturday one could start early afternoon. But
Sure.
the one on Saturday is My Revenge's tournament. It is going to be what looks like to be a weekly thing, although I haven't spoken with anybody off My Revenge to talk about it. But it looks that it's set up to be a weekly thing. They're going to have a monthly final, which is how I drew that conclusion. And if you decide to participate in this event, there is prizes. There's actually some pretty decent prizes. It's not really cash prizes. They do have some money, but I think the amount was the grand prize was 25 euros. So it's a pretty low amount as far as actual cash is concerned. But there was, let's see if I can pull it up here, 5,000 gems for grand prize. So you can split 5,000. So that's 1,000 gems apiece, assuming there's only 5 of you and you don't have a backup. If you take grand prize, that can get you 2 skins, 30 skins. If you buy one, that's a color change. So that's pretty good. That's a pretty good amount of gems. And then you'll get tournament points that will go towards the monthly final. So that's how you place in the monthly final. You have to participate in these weekly ones and gather these tournament points to be able to place into the final. So that'll be cool. That starts at 12 o'clock Eastern. Sign-ups close at 11:30 a.m. Eastern, so you have until that time to sign up. Then on Sunday, ESL is going to be hosting Battleground of the Gods #4. You guys all know what Battleground of the Gods is. They've already had 3 of them before. BLGEU won the first one. Juice or Blight Gaming, depending on how you want to address them, won the second one. And Bipolar Method won the third one. So it's been a new team every single week. Hopefully we'll see another new team this week or a repeat. Well, it depends, how the teams prepare. And of course, whether or not the patch hits is going to be a huge factor in that. But that will start at 11 a.m. Eastern, and sign-ups or check-in, for that starts at 10:40 Eastern. So I don't know when sign-ups close, but I would sign up as soon as possible if you haven't already signed up for that.
Absolutely.
Yes, don't be like BLGEU was last time and be like, we're missing one guy. That was great. So, yay for that. All these tournaments are going to be so exciting, and we'll be, of course, covering them on blgaming.com. And Alecyte, which ones are you going to be casting? Are you and Lionheart going to be co-casting anything, or what's going on there? Who's going to be casting?
That's up to Lionheart. I don't know what he's doing for it. He's going to be casting on the high-res stream. He's all high and fancy about his stuff.
I will be covering the event on the high-res stream. It's my understanding that I'm covering the event solo for ESL. I have to talk to see what kind of restrictions I have when I'm on their stream. Saturday, I may already have a co-caster. I don't know what's going on with that yet. So tentatively, I'm alone for both events on the high-res stream. But, anything's possible. Certainly things could develop tomorrow or the day after.
Cool.
It's cold in here.
It is very chilly in here. The temperature is dropping fast outside, and this is not very well insulated.
I think that's because
You
the
need
door's
Stermes
open.
Yellow's jacket.
Don't judge it. Why you judge it all the time? Not cool.
Hey, I'm judging it in a good way. I'm saying it's warm and cozy, and they need it.
It's warm, cozy, bright yellow. I mean,
It is.
it looks soft and plush.
I thought there was a breeze.
Yeah.
Now my legs are warmer because the breeze stopped.
Yeah.
The door was open just a little bit, just enough to let in that cold
And it
air.
was an optical illusion because you looked at it, and if you didn't look hard enough, it looked like it was closed. Yeah.
Yes.
Now I'm warmer.
Yes, I
Yes.
will agree.
So-
So, if this patch hits before, if it hits tomorrow, are you guys gonna all the teams are gonna have to buckle down and play as much as they can before this weekend, all right? Are you guys prepared to do that, Zap? No, maybe he can't.
No, definitely. I told my guys, I gave them a checklist of things to find out, if the patch comes tomorrow, so we'll all be ready for it.
Sweet.
Interesting. I like that.
Well, he's even
Checklists.
forcing me to do it because I'm subbing for him on.
Right. He has the most work.
Yeah, do all the
Definitely
work.
gonna be entertaining.
Of course, Stermes will carry Procore into something successful if he plays with them. That's just
Like I
how it'll
always
work.
do.
Yep.
Yeah, is Procore going to be the next victors for ESL Battleground of the Gods 4?
If Stermes is playing with them, maybe.
I think we have a strong chance to win both tournaments.
That Guan
We've been doing
Yu.
really well in all the scrims lately, so we're pretty confident and ready to do it.
Great.
Nice. It's good to hear.
It is. I like this changing hands all the time. It's very interesting. Although I
It's
wouldn't
actually. Oh.
I wouldn't complain about that one or two top teams that keep battling out, but I don't know. I like the variety that it offers right now because in League of Legends it was kind of boring when it was just solo mid and CLG. He was like, oh, it's one of those two that's going to win. Of course we know that's what's going to happen as soon as this tournament starts. With this, it's like, who knows? Anybody could win. You know, it could be somebody we've never heard of, like Procore. Wait, we've heard of them now. So.
It's like these unknown people. Sorry.
I think it's just so nice that all the teams are on such like friendly terms, more or less, I guess. But
Yeah.
you know, most of the teams are like, "Hey, you know, come over. I need a sub." And
Yeah.
like 3 teams, you know, people are willing to come over and help them. And I don't know, it's just so cool seeing this.
Have you really?
I agree with that. I like that aspect about the Smite community. That it's pretty close knit, and hopefully it stays that way.
Yeah. We want to make it a bigger knit.
I mean, I want it to be big, but
Yeah.
hopefully you can still. People don't, start the drama.
Oh, the drama train.
The drama train.
The drama train is strong with this one.
Oh, it's 10 o'clock. It might be time for Lassie to join us.
It's
Maybe
9:59.
maybe he'll join us.
Time for
No,
People leave, isn't
I
it?
think we're gonna give him at least like 3 seconds.
All right, well, we'll take some calls then while we are waiting here.
Up
Yeah.
on Skype,
Well-
perfect.rain, and hope it doesn't crash because Skype.
Yes,
is
because
bad.
Skype's a
oh.
bitch.
So what were you saying, Alecyte?
What would you
Oh, I
like
was gonna say, while we're waiting, what do you guys think are gonna be the top 2 bans during the weekend if the patch hits? I don't know if it is or not, but
Not
you know,
Cupid
Lionheart had
today.
this as a status on Twitter or whatever.
And how will you
think-
approach that?
Did.
I'm pretty sure Bacchus is 100% going to be one of the bans.
Yeah.
And the second one, if people stop banning Wukong, I probably would say Ymir would be the second ban. But I mean, we'll have to see.
But do you think people will stop banning Wukong for Ymir?
I mean, I see a lot of people have been not banning Wukong lately, so I've been pretty happy. See.
Sweet. All right, well, we have our first caller. Coop, would you like to ask her, answer, or say something?
Oh yeah. Well, first, can you move that little logo down? I don't want to. Yeah, thanks. I don't want to be represented by that.
Oh,
Anyway.
crap.
The
There we go.
question
Yeah,
I
that pops
have
up.
is like, I know you guys touched on it a little bit, but with the creeping curse rate going down and the movement speed going up, and they've talked about increasing ganks more and the action of the play. Not that I agree with this, but do you think there's going to be a point where the game becomes too fast and action-wise, and where it needs to be slowed down a little bit? Because I think right now, while they're paying a lot of attention to the community and changing things that we want, if so, I think we need to like bring that to their attention now. And if you guys agree with that or can talk more about it, I'd appreciate it.
Interesting. What are your thoughts, Zap?
I think adding more nukes to these gods that already have 2, you know, like Thor and other things like that, will make the early game a lot crazier and maybe a lot more safer. It depends, you know, how the lane matchups are. So, I mean, it can go both ways. We'll have to see. It can be, you know, added more aggression, or it can be added more passive play because, you know, lanes are so strong now.
Yeah.
Because you know you can't just walk up to them and.
It's like gun control, where you know if you ban guns, then you know if you're the only one there with a gun, you can just open fire on anybody. But if there's no gun laws and anybody can carry a gun, then you're not going to be quite as quick to whip it out and shoot because you might just get shot first.
Yeah, never be so quick to whip it out, Damon.
Exactly.
The one thing I don't like about this patch is how they increase the cooldown of Creep and Curse, as well as decreasing, you know, the amount it slows. No one really gets Creep and Curse anymore anyway, because there's so many abilities that counter it, so it's
Right.
almost a wasted pickup. And now that they have Heavenly Agility, like an AoE cleanse, you know, Creep and Curse is going to be even more obsolete. But I think if they had it, they reduced the slow, but, you know, kept the cooldown the same 90 seconds, maybe it'll be more viable to get it. But right now, I don't think anyone will get Creep and Curse ever again.
I think the cooldown was adjusted probably because they were adjusting the cooldown elsewhere on other abilities, and they didn't want to leave it out. But that's
Yeah,
a
but
good
it's only-
point you make.
Yeah, there's one ability that slows, and there's like 3 that gets you out of it. So
Right, there's a lot of anti-slows that have been implemented recently. The change on Heavenly Agility, especially, I'm sure is going to get tested out a lot and be something interesting. To the caller's point about the pace of Smite, I think that certainly there's a threshold where Smite will could get too fast paced. There could be too much going on early on that it becomes a problem. But I think that Hi-Rez has kind of displayed that they're mindful of that, right? Like the sustain was really high prior to this patch, and now we're seeing sustain take a hit. because that was starting to get a little too out of control. And so I think they're attuned to the fact that they want the. I mean, one of the unique reasons to come and play Smite, right, is there's not that boring passive laning phase. Like,
Right.
you don't want to play Smite and farm your lane for 20 minutes like you do in League of Legends, where you're just sitting there last hitting, and maybe there's some action, maybe there's not. That's boring. You want to see action, you want to see fighting going on from level 1. That's one of Smite's appeals. And I think that it's a delicate balance to preserve that, but by demonstrating that they recognize when sustain was getting too high and starting to deal with that, shows that they're going to be able to, I think they're going to be able to preserve that balance.
I think it comes down a lot to how they design the characters more than, in my opinion, more than abilities. Because we look at the last character, Bacchus. I mean, he's a pretty cool, character in design, but when you look at him, he just has so much. And when they come out with all these gods that basically do everything, it just becomes, like, I guess, less skill-wise, and you could just, basically, you just run in there. Bacchus especially, he has the leap, you can run in there, take reduced damage, and just kind of do whatever you want. I mean, there's no, I guess, skill to it, There's just, I feel like there's no skill with him. One, he has no skill shots other than his leap anyways. I don't know, I feel like it's a lot come down to character design and making them fit in a certain niche instead of basically running into a team fight and doing whatever the hell they want.
Yeah. Who is tickety typing away? Must be
That's-
Stermes.
I'm sorry, we
This
dominated
time.
a ranked game, but you guys answered my question and talked about it beautifully, so you can hang up on me now. Thanks.
Okay.
Thanks for the question.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
All right, and
It is him.
I know there are some other people.
Yep.
Just go ahead and message us on perfect.rain.
Yep.
And we
Preferably
will
message us, and then I'll just get to you in the order that you called, or message me.
message.
Versus having a bunch of explicit calls pop in my face. So, Baz, how are you doing this evening, sir?
Good. How about you guys?
Pretty good, pretty good.
Excellent.
So,
I
Go
wanted
for
to
it.
follow up on Coop's point a little bit. I'm a huge Quake player, and I like speed. So personally, I wouldn't have a problem with the game becoming a little bit more fast-paced than it already is. I think that would add some viewer excitement. I think that would kind of make Smite a little bit even more unique than it already is. So that's just kind of a point I want to throw out there. And the next thing is I actually really like this patch. There's a couple kind of iffy issues, like why was Humor buffed? Is Thor going to be as OP as everyone thinks he is? How's the Cupid changes going to work? But the changes to this patch are just so big. I don't think we'll actually be able to have any legit opinions until it actually comes out and we try it.
yeah.
So that's all I got for this week. But good show.
Well,
Right.
thank you.
Thank you very
Yep.
much, sir.
Yes, we do take comments, not just questions. So, feel
Yes,
free to
yes.
call us with
you
your
can
comments.
call us about something Smite related, something about our guests. Like if you want to know how often Alecyte had to practice the hair bob, hair flip,
The hair flip.
all
Not to throw off his headset, because he has to do it at such a precise
yeah,
measure of throwing his head. Because if he goes too fast, his headset will go whew, way off his head. And
Yeah,
he
or
risks
it'll-
breaking his neck.
Yeah. So if you have questions like that for our guests, whatever.
How to kill
Just give us
Alecyte,
a
put
call.
spikes on his shoulder.
If you want to talk about Lionheart's pants like you were in chat earlier, whatever. I don't know why.
Well, you see his knees, so he might not be wearing any.
Yeah. Well,
That is very true.
dude, they could be cut off jeans.
They could be cut off
I never
jeans.
wear pants. I like to sit naked.
Oh, beautiful.
That's interesting.
There's nothing under that shirt. We can tell you that. All those ladies just got all excited.
All those pixels. Oh, yes.
Yes. All right. So we have more.
Yes, yes.
We do.
Yes, we do.
Call. We'll go with Mr. Rooster as soon as they pick up. There they are. Are you there, sir?
Gigantic rooster.
Yes, I'm here.
Good, good. Now, ask your question while I check my messages, and I have to move this window. Go ahead.
Yeah, I missed a majority of the Beyond the Rift, so I was just wondering how everyone feels about the new update with Cupid.
That it's, I don't know.
Different.
Yeah, they're changing him into a hybrid. I'll let our panel that currently everyone on stream can't see right now.
Right.
Go ahead
Because
and answer that. There we go.
I had to check
Because I got
messages.
naked, guys. Sorry.
Yeah. We had to throw it off for Lionheart. So, who wants to take this about Cupid? Because I know you guys had a lot of questions.
I just do you guys feel like they're doing it because his heal and sustain and lane was just so much that they just want you to choose between, look, you're gonna have to do either you're gonna have to be like a support and do like damage with your spells, or you're gonna have to be a straight up like damage person?
That's one thing I can't answer. I honestly, when I try and think of why they did this, I'm like, I don't know why. That's my big
I
thing.
can answer it. I think the logic behind it is that they were having some problem getting Cupid in a spot that they wanted him in. His sustain was still pretty good as far as the lane was concerned, and I think they were a little bit nervous about how much burst damage he had. On top of being able to auto attack well, I think that's a combination that they're trying to maybe separate.
Yes.
That you either auto attack really well, and your abilities aren't useless, but you're not bursting like a mage either. And so I think that's where the change was kind of directed at. As you can retain that burst if you want by building magic, and you'll also get that sustain as well. You can serve more of a team support role, is the way Ares described it today. He said support role. I'm going to say more of a magical. I won't go as far as carry because there's only one damage dealing ability that's not on a large cooldown, but certainly not the auto attack role that you might expect. Or you can go that auto attack role. You'll still do good damage with your abilities, but they're not going to scale so well into the late game. So that late game, you still have a presence in the early game. Your abilities still count in the laning phase, and in the mid game. In the late game, they're going to count for more of the CC, but they're not going to have their high burst damage that they had before. It's going to be more about landing your auto attacks now that you've geared up yourself.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that makes sense. Yeah.
Yeah, going away from 80 carries, ranged 80 carries, having just obscene burst, because all their abilities and all their stuff, they all hit so hard.
They're always hitting hard the whole game right now, and that's something that a lot of people have talked about more recently. The focus of that conversation has been honor over Cupid, but I don't think that. They're obviously looking at stats that we don't have available to us, and maybe they felt that Cupid should have been the focus first.
So, I see in chat that Lionheart got engaged.
What?
What? That's what I see.
No, that's All-Star. It's All-Star.
Don't anything that comes out of All-Star player's mouth is a lie, dude. That's a lie. That kid, yeah.
I thought he was married. I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong.
But no. But the thing that this does bring up is, he's not. Everyone's focusing on the damage that he's losing by going, if he goes AD. But if he goes AD, he's also hitting for 2 types of damage. So if Cupid's getting fed on the enemy team, what do you buy to stop him?
Yeah.
I mean, you're forced to buy both types of defenses. You're forced to buy magical and physical. You buy health, I guess, but you're forced to buy defenses and.
I think that's over exaggerated because people don't realize that Cupid's abilities really took a huge damage hit. His passive has changed, so that his passive only scales his auto attacks now. It doesn't scale his abilities. So if you have your passive up, your heart bomb's not going to. Sure, it's going to stun, but it's not going to hit for any more damage. Neither is your ultimate, and those abilities got an increase in damage on their flat values, but it was a very nominal increase. I don't think that you're going to see them bursting down like an Agni, like 3 meteors from Agni are going to burst you down. I don't think you're going to see that. I think that and you have to also keep in mind the fact that there's no, if you build straight attack damage on Cupid, there's no magic penetration behind that. So you're not getting the bonus that Agni's getting from Spear of the Magus or any other magical items that he might have built. It's just, all your magic resistance counteracting that damage. I don't think it's going to hit as hard as people are expecting it to, unless you build for it to hit hard.
Well, what if you're running say you're running with like Guan Yu or Ymir that grabs Void Stone, then you're hitting for the magic damage and you're hitting for 80. I mean, I think it's still going to be huge. It's doing 440 damage with the Heart Bomb max level. With both hits,
yeah, they're not
500 damage with his Fields of Love. It's still doing a lot of damage with his bases, and he still gets an auto attack damage.
All right, so now that that's done, how do you guys feel about the Thor buff again? Now that after last patch he got buffed too, now he's getting another buff. How do you feel about that?
I personally feel that it's another great excuse for me to use that awesome Thor skin. That's all I have to say.
Yeah. The question is, will it push him over the top? That's what we'll have to find out, because we've already had the discussion about, on paper it might look super strong, but
we'll see.
You don't know until it actually see it in practice.
I think, and Lionheart was going over that you can hit him twice with the hammer, teleport to them, and do the stun all in very close succession to each other. then spin them to death. So
Yeah, he's going to be
Yeah,
very
that-
good at bursting
that
people
was-
down.
That was my biggest worry when I read it. It was the stun that was added on to his wall. It was you already have that wall too. Now you have his teleport that does a lot, and you have the hammer itself that does a lot of damage. And you're just gonna be on top of people the whole time. It's gonna be like easy kills just because you can just stun them. You can just do everything to them to mess with
Now,
them.
here's an interesting question. Will he stun everyone that he hits with the wall? Because they didn't specify it's just a single stun. I can only assume that it's everybody.
I imagine
Yeah.
it would hit everybody who was hit by the wall.
Yeah, that's what I had assumed too.
So that could be even worse if you get them like all kind of running through a jungle, for instance, and you throw down your wall, and then suddenly they're split and they're stunned. That could be
long
very
range stun,
interesting-
man. Long
interesting
range stun.
problem. So we have an actual question. Well, actual question.
Yeah,
what
we
you-
don't have any fake questions.
That's what it was titled as, so I had to say it. That was the Book of Thoth. It has 100 magical power. If you're going to bother getting Rada Tahuti, why would you pass up the book? And go for it,
Alecyte.
I would. It just sucks. It's a terrible item. I mean, why would you ever grab that item? It's so bad. I mean, first of all, you barely even buy Rod of Tahuti on carries. It's like your 5th, 6th item if you even get to that point into the game. But it's just so bad when you compare it to Voidstone and Spear the Magus and all the stats they give. I mean, Voidstone gives you 60 of, or I forget what it is, 50 of that, with 60 protection, or I have these backwards, and then 30 penetration. Spear the Magus gives you 300 health, 30 damage, and 30 penetration. I mean, why would you ever grab Book of Thoth? It gives you no tankiness. You're going to get bursted down instantly, so it's just...
Glass
no.
cannon, man.
Yeah, glass cannon. That's all you got to say.
Isn't that the new thing?
No,
Did I miss that?
Yeah.
Bacchus?
That's all I ever
Oh,
built
no.
is glass cannon.
I don't
And then
know
a
though. With glass
Porcino
cannons now, it
kit.
seems like there's so much CC they just get nuked anyway. You need protection almost in this game. It's like a must.
Yeah, it's really true.
And there we go. That's why you don't get Book of Thoth. It
Ta-da.
has no protection.
So thank you for your call, Giga, Mr.
Thank you
Rooster.
for having me.
And we'll get on to our next caller, who, I happen to know, is Spoo! Ha! It rhymes. So, as soon as he answers, there we
That
go.
rhymed, are you sure?
That's
What?
Spoo guy.
Am I sure that that's
Hello.
Spoo?
Bonjour, sir.
Your question? Or this is Spoo,
Question,
right?
comment, concern.
I'm Pon Pon Wai Wai in case you can't
Damn it.
but-
Spoo and Pon Pon. I always get it backwards. Shut up.
But
Pon Pon
I have
Spoo.
a question, and I'm curious to hear all your opinions on it. They might have accidentally made the game more passive. Because in laning phase, if I had a green buff on Odin, perhaps, I would zone them out of the minion wave, because I could do that. I could just stand behind the minion wave and zone them out. And the incentive to push was there because I could just go take red buff with Hand of the Gods. Now that there's less incentive to go into the jungle because of the nerfs, what's to keep me from just sitting there zoning the lane?
Anyone? Anyone?
Anyone?
Well, what reason is there not to get the buff? It's still gonna give you half the experience, which is not bad. If you're pushing in the lane, generally the creeps are still gonna be walking out, and your creeps won't be killing them that fast. If you have Hog, right? And then just turn around, grab red, go back in the lane. Not only do you have extra attack, but you have a little bit of experience boost.
Well, yeah, but I could also just keep the enemy from having any experience or gold. Like, in League, you kind of naturally push from last hitting. But if I just want to sit there and hold the lane there and zone them out for the entire duration of the green buff, I could potentially get a 2 or 3 level advantage if I zone well enough.
I think that zoning could play a larger part, certainly, but I don't think that the jungle is going to be as worthless as that. I think that it still gives you the same amount of gold. You still get the buff, and certainly you're not going to get as much experience by zoning them out. But if you sit there and zone them and you're staying in the lane zoning, then you're also not having a presence in the jungle, and so those buffs are up for grabs for somebody else. So, let's say that you're deciding to stay in the lane and you want to zone out your opponents from the tower range. The obvious answer for them is to either pick up something that's going to let the wave clear, or go into the jungle and force you to go in the jungle to fight them before you get them that far behind in levels. I mean, the laning phase in Smite is already pretty rough as is. If you get behind in the laning phase without some support from your teammates, you're probably not going to make a comeback unless you guys, I mean, there's that opportunity, right, where you hit level 5 and you guys can synergize your ultimates together. And if you initiate well or their team makes a mistake, you can make a comeback. But generally, if one side gets ahead in the laning phase and they play smart, they don't make any mistakes, that's it. They dominate that side of the lane. That's what we've seen, at least as far as laning has gone before. And so I don't think that this will change that at all necessarily. Maybe you won't find the value in getting buffs, but then if they decide to go for the buffs earlier on, you're going to have to go there to contest it anyways. So I think that there's still fights that are going to go on in the jungle. And I think that it also opens up another door for you to, sure, you can zone them out, but you could also go, and maybe your middle lane hasn't been decided yet, you could go to middle lane and gank instead and then put pressure on that lane. So I don't know that players will be as passive as you might think.
Okay, that's fair.
Yeah.
That's how I would answer that. But I have no idea. I mean, it could,
I have this long drawn out answer, very specific, but
Whereas,
really I have no
as
idea.
Zoning, because if you zone somebody out and you get them 3 levels behind you and you take them out of the game, that's just as good, if not better, than going middle and giving support middle. So how you make the decision on what you do, I don't know, but that's certainly a good point that you bring up.
I guess the bigger concern there is that I'm more worried that not so much the level 5 and onward will be less aggressive, because I think with the movement speed increase to make the jungle seem smaller and the map seem smaller, you'll see some more aggression there. I just feel like the 1 to 5 could get potentially very, very, very boring.
Great. Awesome. Thank you very much. I want to interrupt your great conversation and let you know we have another guest joining us today, which is Lassiz.
Yes, he hasn't been on with us for a while. Welcome, Lassie. You with the big grin. It's like you're waiting for your intro with the big smile, and it's like they keep going and going and going. And now you may speak. Go ahead.
Yes, he just go for it.
What am I doing? Sorry, I'm just.
No, you just
and Lassie's just finished doing some high res streaming, right?
Yes, I don't know what I'm still doing. Yes, I love it over there.
Awesome.
How's everybody?
We're doing great. We were talking about the
Good.
patch. What do you think of the patch? Have you gotten a chance to look at it?
Holy bonkers. Oh goodness. Well, let's see. Now that I'm allowed to talk,
Where do you start?
oh god. I don't want to get in trouble with this. What the crap were they thinking with the Amir and Thor buff? My god. I don't know. I was looking forward to this patch like crazy, and you know I still am. I know the game's still evolving, still kind of going as a little thing here, but that stun on Thor just after giving the teleport was just a little unnecessary, in my opinion. Of course, you know my opinion.
Right.
And the Amir freeze, I mean, it's meant to be CC and a long CC at that, and just giving it that damage, it's like now it's gonna make him build almost a hybrid tanky / caster, because he's just gonna do so much damage now. So I'm a little nervous.
A little nervous.
How do you think it's going to affect your midding? Like, even with the speed buff, is that making you a little worried that people might be running from lanes to try and get mid because they can get there faster?
Oh yeah, I heard about the 10% move speed buff, correct? Like
Yes.
added just to everything.
Yeah.
Yep, to all gods. Not to creeps, though.
I guess I kind of like that because it's going to give a little more mobility on the map for everything. You know, it provides more ganks, which I don't like, obviously. I hate, but at the same time, I think it's great for the game. You know, it's going to provide a lot more mobility so people can get from lane to lane. And
Yeah. It'll make the
it's
map
gonna
feel smaller.
make the game way more interesting, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then, as Zap said, why are so many mid? All the time. But other than that, I didn't get to read too much patch notes outside of that. You know, I'm excited they're kind of lowering yellow, but at the same time, 35 defense is still pretty outrageous,
Yeah, it's still really good.
especially early game.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
And if anyone, sorry, I'm so sorry.
no, not at all. So,
Go ahead.
Pon, did you have any other questions or comments?
No, I think that was my only question.
Cool. Did we answer it successfully?
Yes, that was a good back and forth, I felt.
Good. Do you have any questions for Lass since we have him here and you're on?
No, I just want to say hello, lasses, and bye, lasses.
All right, thank you for joining us.
And
That
if
was
you want to give us a call and talk to any of our awesome panel here.
Yep, feel free
it's
to.
perfect.rain on Skype. with a little period in
Yes,
the middle.
That'd be the dot.
That would be the dot.
So Zapman, what is so damn funny? I'm curious.
Huh?
You just
No, everyone's just making fun of Lassiz when he was like, I have to do me. At when that whole fiasco was going on. It was great.
yes.
I gotta do me.
When did I say that again? I forgot.
I don't know. It was like 2 days ago. It was funny.
Lassiz is so confused.
I think
I don't remember many things.
Yeah, so the whole thing, you like took off, the RG from your stream and everything, and you're explaining to people what was going on, and taking the high res gig. You're just like, I gotta do me.
Don't make. Yes, I did. I did.
Would you like to go over that in a summaric fashion for us? I guess in a quick summary.
Sure, why not? Yeah, I have no problem. It's whatever. I feel people deserve to know. Whatever. Anyway, I took the job over, or kind of the streaming slot over at High Res from 7 to 10, and everyone, including myself, was just acting like a bunch of whiners. We're all just like, what the.
He's lagging out. What's going on?
That's my proxy, by the way. Testing.
Wait.
Yeah, there we go. Sorry.
I don't know why. I mean, we see you moving, but we don't hear anything.
Yeah, like you're talking and it's just there's nothing.
Yeah.
So, how about now?
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
There we go. Okay, yeah, it's my proxy, man. It owns me.
Oh.
But anyway, yeah, we all threw huge tantrums, like whiny girls, and then instead of trying to find a solution, everybody jumped the gun, and we all just said, F it. And we all just, I kind of just said, all right, I'm done. I gotta do me, And
That's right.
Understandable.
fortunately, we all grew up, and then we talked, and it was good, man. Now all of us talked. It was good.
Great.
And so who is this giggling girl in the background? Who is it?
That's my brother. Sorry.
Oh, brutal.
Oh, we have slayed Demon.
Well then,
I'm gonna pretend I know the joke. I do not.
you just said who's the giggling girl, and then he says it's my brother.
Oh, my bad.
It really is.
Oh, that's terrible. Well, so what's the situation now? I mean, you're back with RG as a starter, and you play in tournaments. What's the deal?
I guess their plan, is to find. I don't know. It's a cool idea, but at the same time, who wants to be a backup? In my opinion, it's just no one wants to be a backup. So
Exactly.
they're trying to find a quote unquote backup, for scrims or practices, etc. And then during matches and tournaments or whatever, I'll
You'll play.
Yeah.
So you're not going to practice with the team, but you'll play in the tournaments with them. Is that? But you'll practice with them when you're not streaming.
Yeah, it's. I usually don't know what's going on. I hardly know what's going on anyway. Just kind of walk around. I just go mid.
Just go mid, do your thing.
You just accept the invite and you go mid. And that's just the end of the story.
Pretty much.
Hey, if it works, it works. I mean, that's. I would like that
Separation
lifestyle.
Anxiety.
Say
Yeah.
that.
I said some separation anxiety.
What happens if they tell you to go right? Will you cry?
Absolutely, in a heartbeat.
Just tears.
I don't. There's side lanes in this game.
Do you know what the side lane is? Have you visited it much?
Oh yeah.
Absolutely not. Unless I go to take a buff.
Okay, got it.
Or life.
Or a life.
For life.
And so if any
How
of you
does it
guys
feel
have,
about having a job?
yeah, I heard you quit your 9 to 5.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. It was 7 to 5. It sucked.
7 to 5.
And I
Damn.
hated it. And it was only 20 hours a week. It wasn't terrible, but is to the point where I still had to revolve my scheduling around it and everything, and it was unfortunate. You know, we couldn't do any of the poop that was going on during, you know, some of these tournaments that go on just for fun and stuff. And I was like, everybody was like, "Where's Lassiz at? He sucks." I'm like, "Yeah." So anyway, now I quit and I'm doing the whole streaming thing. Oh no!
No, we lost
Proxy
him
owning.
again.
Proxy owning. Well, we'll take this quick time while Lassie is unavoidably quieted to get our next caller in here.
It's so funny to watch his all his actions he's doing.
So, Enzo, do you have a question?
Yeah, I did actually.
What is it?
With the new patch coming out and the nerf to yellow buff mid, I'm wondering what roles do we think we're going to see mid lane used for, and how that's going to work out. Because right now I see either gank-oriented mages or farming AD, and I want to know what you guys think the game will progress towards.
Interesting. Lassie, it sounds like a great question for you there, sir.
Sure, man. I mean, I can try to answer it. Like I said, guys, I'm not the brightest guy. I don't know.
Don't sell yourself short. Just
come on,
run with it. What does your instinct tell you?
I still think it's going to be cheese ball, hand to God, middle, and then I don't think it's going to change terribly much aside from the sustain from the 10 HP per hit, which I mean is nice, but I don't think it's going to change much because that yellow buff is still so important. 35, like I said, protection is not that much less than it was 50, and I don't see it changing terribly much. I don't know why. I mean, I could be wrong, obviously. I'm not, like I said, kind of.
How about you, Lion? What do you think?
Yeah.
And thank you for joining us, Zap.
I think that I think we could. I don't think we'll see Hand of the Gods still middle. I really don't think that. I think that we're going to see Hand of the Gods start to disappear. I think you might see Girdle of Might middle, and using that again, and seeing that make a comeback in terms of using that to clear yellow buff and then having the extra damage in the lane. But I don't know who's going to go middle now. I don't know if we saw this huge wave of physical power characters going middle, and I don't know that that's going to be the case or what we're going to see. I mean, certainly, you know, there were some favorites middle like Bacchus, and I don't know if they'll still be favorites middle or what the deal will be with that, because you're not going to get a nice EXP advantage from clearing those buffs anymore either. So it's really just comes down to getting yellow buff, and I think that you can get yellow buff easy with Girdle of Might and then lane with that and use that to secure kills as well in between the respawn time on yellow buff.
I think in terms of middle characters, I don't think it's going to change at all. I mean, I don't think it's not due to the fact that yellow is so prominent. I think that, you know, middle is so dedicated to ADs. It's the fact that the mage class is just so weak, especially versus these AD carries that are sent mid. AD carries, they scale so much better with farm late game. They have the auto attacks and they have the skills to do damage. So they just scale so much better. They still do as much damage mid game though. They burst just as hard, especially on her. And, you know, some of the, like, Bastet, I guess. I'm trying to think of, you know, some of the other ADs that happen to pop up mid-Kali. They do just as much damage as casters, so I don't think any of that's going to change in terms of characters. You know, what you grab mid might change, but I don't think characters are going to change just because the mage class is so weak.
Interesting. All right. Well, thank you for the question.
Did that answer your question?
Well, actually, I have a follow-up with the points they've given.
Go ahead.
Sure.
You guys say middle lane is oriented toward AD and how they progress with farming. If that's true, does that mean that with these changes in how people are going to drop HOG, ganking won't be as prevalent from the mid character? So then you could change to, say, like a Loki mid where he can clear waves extremely fast and underlevel the opponent by putting his minions under a tower. Do you think that's going to become more popular, or is that going to stay in the niche it is right now?
Well, you wouldn't underlevel an opponent by putting their minions under tower, right? You only lose gold when they're under tower. You don't lose EXP.
Oh, I'm sorry. That's what. Yeah, I meant under farming. Okay. My bad.
So.
But all right, then that was all. Yeah, that answered my question. Thanks.
Yeah,
well, no problem. Thank you for the call.
And Lassiz, that shirt is awesome.
I like that shirt.
Thank you, man.
Is that cord tasty?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I chew when I'm anxious.
Well, you don't need to be anxious. You need to be relaxed and have fun.
Dude, he's got Pac-Man behind him. Wouldn't
he
you
does
be anxious?
I would be anxious if Pac-Man was behind me. He might come and eat me. He might come and eat me. Now the question is, does it still work, and does it work well?
Still works, and it has Galaga on it also.
Do you have to put in a
nice.
quarter?
Oh,
No quarters, free play, baby.
Oh! I'm moving
You
to your house.
hacked it.
Nice.
He's like,
Yeah.
yeah.
So we'll get on to our next caller here, Excellentras.
Just a comment, by the way, for the mid thing.
Go ahead.
The reason everybody knows I'm an aggressive retard middle. Like, it's the only
Right.
thing I got going for me.
Sure, absolutely.
This recent whole quote unquote meta change is, and now to this new patch too, it's that whole yellow buff thing. It makes you have to play well, it's almost not you have to play passive, but they've changed it to a passive aggressive lane. Like, you have so much defense, you're not going to take down a dude middle. It's almost impossible unless they royally screw you up. So I hate yellow buff.
Stop your crying.
So it's if it's a passive aggressive middle, are you guys just gonna stand there and look mad at each other and not say anything? I guess is the way to look at it.
Almost until that yellow buff's off, man.
Yeah.
And with that sustain they had before this patch coming out, that 10 HP per second, it was so easy to top off.
Sure.
Yeah.
It's like,
Yeah, it's almost
Honestly,
not
I
worth
just had a
poking.
comment.
I want to say I kind of agree with you, and this is going to take it one step farther, and this is going to be kind of controversial what I say.
Oh, absolutely.
But I honestly would love to see anything that provides you with sustain in terms of your health. So that's green buff and yellow buff, just chucked and replaced with something else that lets you. I don't like seeing people be able to when you harass somebody successfully. I feel like you should be rewarded for that harass, and I feel like both of those negate that reward that you get for actually landing your skill shot or positioning yourself in a way where you dealt more damage than they dealt. And I would just like to see both of them gone. Well, is that going to happen? I have no idea. Probably not, but I would like to see them gone.
I hate yellow. I want to remove too, dude. And it's stupid. I agree. I would do anything to have those buffs removed.
Would you now, since they probably won't remove them? What if they switch them with another buff? Would you prefer something else? Should they put mana buff back in the mid position kind of thing, like it used to be? Didn't
no, it was
mana
cooldown buff.
It was
I don't-
cooldown.
It was
Okay,
cooldown.
That's
It was
what
cooldown, but I don't think there's anywhere you can put yellow on the map that people aren't going to go and pick it up. There's no place you can move it wherever you want, but it's still going to get. You could put it at red buff right now. People are still going to go for it. They're just going to go for it on different sides of the map, but they're going to contest it.
Yeah,
Yeah, I
make
just
them
hate
fight
the
it.
thing.
You turn off your mic. No, you
I hate yellow and I hate green. I think they're both problematic. Blue's great. Like I think blue. I mean, it gives you the ability to harass a lot, sure, but it doesn't. They can hit back, and if they do hit back, you're not going to heal off of blue buff. You're going to heal off of your potions or abilities, but you're not going to heal off of blue.
I don't know if I agree as
Gotcha.
much as like how far you're going. I mean, I do I think yellow is stupid. It's just a stupid, buff. In the fact that basically you pick that up and you win the lane. And green right now is the same way. I wish, I like the sustain of green, but I think it needs to be the point where you can't just run in stupidly and get out of it because you have green buffer. You have this fight and
Well, they
someone
already
has a better positioning, but you have green buff, so you win. I mean, it needs to be a help factor, but it doesn't need to be the deciding factor in fights.
nerfed the green buff from 15 to 10, and I think
That
that
was a
helped a
while
lot.
ago.
Yeah, that was a while ago. I think that helped a lot. You can't be quite as suicidally stupid
Yeah.
early game.
Should they knock it down a little bit more?
Maybe 7, 8.
Hell, drop it down
Hello,
to 5
everyone.
if anything.
Hi, Brandon. We are now joined by Dmbrandon from Juice Gaming here as well. He decided to jump in with us now that he got off of work. So we have completely
My day
changed
off
over
today.
our guests from Stermes and Zapman to Lassiz and Dmbrandon. So
Bye, Stermes. I love you. So, talking on the buffs, I mean, the problem is we have green and blue, which are awesome early levels. We have speed and pretty much speed and yellow or protection, which are always good. They're always good. Cooldown doesn't really become good until late game when cooldowns are mattering and you're not running out of mana every 5 seconds. And then we have power that's pretty much an experience boost until you have Fire Giant. So ultimately, they need to just rebalance the jungle completely because yellow is just outrageous at all points in the game. It makes you invincible half the time. If they lowered it down to like 20 or 25 instead of 35 or 50 and not make it this force that turns you into this monstrous being that doesn't take any damage, I don't think it would be that big of a deal. But I think the problem with the green buff is that people are always doing the same thing. they're always sending an AD carry to the right. They're always sending their Anhers and their Cupids and their Artemises to the right. So not only do you have a ranged person, but you have a tank who effectively doesn't take any damage. So stop putting your melee people against the AD carry. Because if you have to stand near creeps to do damage to creeps, while one tank doesn't take damage, the other person's nowhere near you, maybe with Hand of the God healing themselves anyway, like you're just being an idiot. You're just smacking your head against the same wall until either your skull breaks or the wall breaks, and either way you're paying for something.
That sounds
Also,
very
before you do
delicious.
it, Lassiz, can you say it for me one more time?
I gotta do me.
Yes!
And
Yeah.
Lassiz,
Twitter,
your video is also
10,000
frozen.
followers right there.
Yep.
Yes.
10,000 followers.
I love it. I love
We
it.
have a caller.
Yes, we would like to let our caller ask a question real quick. So, Excellentris,
Spring Green.
Yo, what's going on?
not too
How's
much.
it going? What is your question, comment for our panel, sir?
Well, for comments, to be honest, like, one, I'll just say, Glasses, put your leg down. It's very gross to look at.
You have to unfreeze your camera first.
Chill, man. He's got it.
Two,
man.
in my opinion, yeah, yellow buff is way overpowered. Regardless of the nerf that they're doing, it's still gonna basically be who can get yellow buff first. If both mids get yellow buff, that lane is without a doubt, no matter what level you are, stalemate. You will not gain anything from mid. You can't leave lane because then the other mid will just push you, push the tower and make you either lose your tower or make you just waste that experience from going into jungle and then coming back to defend it. What was the other one? I think 2, the Cupid, his new make and everything. I actually really like that because instead of Cupid being an extremely good AD with his extremely high sustain already, that usually you match people with like Guan Yu or even a Ra, so you have double sustain. You nerf that, making him choose, okay, does he want to be a support role now, where he can sustain, still do some quality CCs with his heart bomb or his ult, or does he go complete AD and still have somewhat of good abilities for sustain and everything?
But you're not seeing the problem. You're not mentioning the biggest issue. Now, are you a League of Legends player?
Yeah.
Sure you are. Everyone is. Don't lie. So, alright, you go over to
I'm
League,
not.
right? Now picture
I
a
played
little
League of
cute
Legends
dude
way before
that
Smite.
shoots
I heard
things
Smite
really
like
far,
halfway,
right?
and
You got a
then
little
Hold
dude
on.
who shoots
One at a
stuff,
time.
and he's cute as hell. Who is that?
Oh,
Wait,
It's
what?
Teemo. They just made fucking Teemo. So
Yeah.
now he has to deal with every female in the world picking Cupid and locking in immediately because he's fucking Teemo. So now the
True.
character's screwed. Because he'll never be balanced because he's going to be on both teams every single game unless he's banned, and then it won't count anyway. Which means High Res will never ban them because we've seen it to this point. They only ban things that have like 80% win rates. So he's going to become Teemo. He's on both teams every game. The whole character's screwed. And I'm probably going to quit.
If you don't do competitive play, that's basically how that's basically how Bacchus is now. That's basically how Loki was before his what you call nerf. You know? So
But
I
that's
mean,
really
like
team
when
up.
you go normal games, you always get to see the same god that just comes out. Like you go normal games after this patch, you'll see Thor in there every game. People are gonna
does
instant
that have to do
lock
with Teemo?
Thor because of that stunt.
Teemo's so cute.
Teemo is really cute.
Cute
I
too.
have to
you ever
agree
had a
with you.
Cupid following you around spamming taunts like Harvest does all the time? It's cute as hell. Doing that every game on both teams, just running around you spamming taunts and heart bombs. No one's gonna know how to build them. Everyone's gonna build Fatalis even more now. 'Cause that makes sense.
Another thing, I
We're
actually
gonna get 800 Cupid skins. He's gonna be an astronaut and a fucking Easter bunny.
Dude, Cupid astronaut.
I like it.
So cool.
That'd be pretty cool. I'd buy it.
Where would he put his wings?
On the
have him
suit.
as
It's
rocket-
jetpacks. and stuff.
jetpack rockets.
Yeah. There you go, Hi-Res. Your next skin. Go.
I would
Yo,
actually
no more
like to see
skins
a hell
before
skin.
Hero. All right, no more skins
That would be
before Hero.
badass.
Yes.
Health.
Okay, I want to get out my hell skin. It needs to be a skater hell. She can ride a skateboard like her disc. She can kickflip it when she changes stances. That's the best thing ever.
I
And
would
then
buy
she
that in a heartbeat if that comes out. just
she
let me
rides
know.
it goofy footed, and then she flips back and she rides it normal footed. You know, all that
Oh
good
my
crap.
god. That would be so sexy.
I would play hell because of that. Oh god. Then you can get points when you do like combos and stuff, and they'll start going ding, counting up the points as you're getting your kickflips, and you can like grind on the edge of the lane and do all that crap, and suddenly you can combine Tony Hawk and Smite, and everybody's happy.
Then there could be a competition that they give like gems away, whoever has the most points at the end of the week or something. At the end of the game that they win. I mean, just really ridiculous.
Oh, brilliant.
I'm just saying, Odin bore many children. I just think there should be a DM skin for Thor. Just saying. Oh, in the reveal trailer, they said Odin bore many children. He's mine. I want him.
Okay.
All right.
That's a little. Put your leg back up.
All right.
What? Oh, that frozen image on street. Oh, dang it.
Yeah, I had to freaking restart my camera. I was like, I can't be having that.
So, Lassie, what skin would you like Hi-Rez to make?
I'm not very creative, man.
What god do you want a skin for? That doesn't already have one that you like.
Who do I play anyway?
I
mean, they came out. Zeus would be nice, but I mean, I obviously play Agni. I don't know how to play any other god beside him. Gluttony, there's a guy, Gluttony, who always used to. He drew kind of like a astronaut skin on him. I thought that would be kind of clever, funny.
We'll get the astronaut like crew going. You got to get astronaut skins for Cupid, and Agni and all sorts of other gods, and so we can have the astronauts versus something else, like
the cat people.
No, like maybe the astronauts versus the surfers, and so you can get like all sorts of beach themed skins. Exactly. Fine, it wasn't funny. Shut up.
Left out to dry on that one, man.
Yeah, the crickets. The crickets
All
are great.
right.
No, but really, I've been asking for one skin since it started, and we call Ao Quang the Noodle Dragon, and I just want to see him made out of spaghetti.
Then he can take care of two problems at once.
Awesome.
He can
just chucks meatballs at you.
He can take care of the flying spaghetti monster that everybody wants put in the game if you just give him the skin.
Spaghetti monster. Awesome.
There, two birds, one stone.
Whenever I play Ao Quang, I always scream as soon as I pick him, Noodle Dragon.
Exactly.
Oh, yes.
Agni, that sounds pretty cool.
Noodle Dragon all the way. I'm a big fan of the
Thank you for
Noodle
your call, sir.
I got more if you want.
Oh no, actually, we kind of need to wrap it up.
Yeah, we gotta wrap it up. We've been going for
almost
like an
been
hour
running
and a
for
half.
2 hours. We're going to be running for 2 hours here soon.
Yeah,
so.
soon.
Sorry, Ao Quang.
All right, well, thank you
Cat
for
monster.
bringing me on here.
No problem. No problem.
Have a good one. Did you say Ao Quang Cat Monster?
No, I called him a chat monster. Because I said Ao Quang and he got all mad. Like it matters. I mean, he's a flying dragon.
Is he technically a dragon or is he a spaghetti?
He's a dragon.
Okay.
He doesn't have wings though. How can
He's
he
a
fly
Chinese
without wings?
dragon.
You can't be a dragon without wings.
Those Chinese guys just do whatever they want.
Dude, you wiggle. Haven't you seen it? You
know
wiggle
how much
through the
Nikos
air.
Cost when they make them, it's like nothing. How do they do that? You know
What?
how much an iPad would cost over here if we made those? The
Yeah.
Chinese do whatever they want, and shouts to them. Like Q's over there or CH, who knows? Shout outs to Renetta, by the way, because I tried to correct her on Keen's blades and she rocked me.
Nice.
Apparently, it's Chin's blades.
Really?
Yeah,
Yes,
I don't
it
know.
is.
I always called it Quinn's Blades just because it's got a Q. It's got to have a U following it. So,
I got yelled at that about how to pronounce that while I was casting. People were like, "It's Chin's blade, like your chin."
Huh.
It's like,
People
all right.
yell at
that
me
makes
about
sense.
Aegis. They say it's Aegis. I'm like,
Nope.
it sounds so weird. Aegis.
I thought it was more like
Just ask them to
Aegis.
joust.
Yeah.
Just say you want to joust for it, bro.
Yes, that is the ultimate. We shall go with that. Well,
That was a
quite an interesting show thus far.
great. Thank you
So-
guys for joining us. We'll have to
Yep.
wrap up because it is getting late,
Rather
and
late.
it is getting to be that time. Thank you very much, Dmbrandon and Lassiz, for joining us.
At the end here.
It
Would
was
you like
awesome.
to give any shout-outs out? I guess we'll start with Dmbrandon first since he was the last one here.
Shout outs to all the pigs. Be yourselves.
Got it.
Awesome.
Lassie,
Off of
do you
that.
have any shout-outs?
Oh, geez. I know I'm getting made fun of for it, but I'm still curious on it. But got to do me.
Gotta do me.
Yes.
Yeah.
Power to the people.
That was
Dude,
for
it's not even a joke to me. It's not even make fun of you. I love it.
I do. It's great. Got to take care of number
It's
one
not even a
first.
joke. I would tell you if it's a joke. It's not. It's not a joke.
That's true. You're Brandon.
Okay. I would like to point out, is this the first time you and Brandon have ever been in the same place at the same time talking to each other?
I don't think so. I don't know. Maybe.
I've honestly never disliked anybody. I'm just me, dude. I'm the
That's not what
retarded
he
one.
asked, Lassiz. Why would you even bring that up?
You automatically assumed. I said, did you dislike him? I just said this is the first time that you two have been in the
That's an
same room.
Assumption. It was down. I was just making it clear.
Oh, cool.
I don't like plenty of people, including Lionheart, but no, I like Lassiz a lot. I like that he does him all the time, and he never has an opinion about anything. He just wants to go mid. Just let him go mid.
That's beautiful. That's beautiful. So, do you have any actual shout-outs? Go for it now.
Yeah, man. Just thank you guys for taking me on for a little bit here. It's it's nice to just interact with the community once in a while, and all you guys' input is great. I can't do your crap for crap, so I just pick on you guys honestly. And I love everybody, man. I go middle, do me, love everyone.
Do me.
Beer's good.
Awesome.
By the way,
awesome.
is no one going to call out that was the most pretentious thing anyone's ever said on this show? I like to, just chat with the community once in a while. Like, you're talking to us like we're little people.
All people, man.
Oh.
No, thank you guys. It's cool.
How about you, Alecyte? What's up with you?
I don't know. Twitch TV/Alecyte. I do random whatever there. Working with Kennedy on getting a college league set up. So if you have a college team for Smite, we'll be posting about that sometime soon. Follow me on Twitter or Kennedy for updates on that. I just need to get the rules written up for that. I have to write the general rules and I have to write the Smite rules. But it should be fun. We're gonna have a league for that, and it should be pretty interesting.
Cool.
Yeah, it was really neat. All right, Lionheart.
Just shout out to the viewers who are watching, who tune in every week. I don't really get to stream as much as I used to because of work, so it's cool to hang out with you guys when I get opportunities like that. I'm Beyond the Rift, and certainly during tournaments when I cast and stuff like that. So cool to hang out with you guys. Shout outs to Hi-Rez, for listening to the community on some of the feedback. Some of the changes they implemented this patch were definitely community changes, and so that's really cool that they're paying attention to what's going on. We'll see how some of the other changes shape out. And shout outs to all the competitive teams for giving me something to cast, because without you guys I have nothing to do. I'd actually have to play the game. So
awesome.
You poor thing.
Which I do. I play the game actually quite a bit, but I'm just saying.
All right. Well, thank you guys for joining us. You've been watching Beyond the Rift. You'll get your chance. It's okay. It's okay.
I will punch you. Because I can.
He probably will. Right in the kidney.
Yes. I will make it explode so you can
check
go to
us
the hospital.
out at bogaming.com. We have guides, awesome forums, mentoring systems, all that neat stuff. All right, go for it.
All right, now I can go for it. You can follow me on Twitter. God, see, now you've ruined it. I had it all ready, and I was like waiting for it, and then you're all like jumping in front of me. Anyway, you can follow me on Twitter at DeamonMachine. We have, of course, all the big mentoring system stuff. That's great. Yay! It's so much fun, and it's we have a Mumble server that anybody can join. So if you would like to hang out with anybody, I often troll on the Mumble channel when I'm at work. It's mumble.blgaming.com. Super easy, default port. You can do it. You're a pro. I can't think of really anything else other than follow me on Twitter. blgaming.com. Well, I think you covered that one. So I think they kind of know that I run BL Gaming, so they might know that they should go visit it.
Yes, absolutely. News, articles, awesome stuff.
Yep.
Really?
Oh, yeah, and we were the first ones out with the formatted patch notes today. He just did a copy-paste bin and stuff like that, and I made sure that I spent that 20 minutes doing all that formatting. God, it was tedious as hell.
It's really pretty.
Thank you. I tried hard on that. I'm sure the colors make your eyes hurt because I am just terrible with colors.
Yeah, he
Don't
really
ever
is.
ask me to paint a picture or design a website based on colors.
Yeah, we had it with or like, hey, what color do you want our website? You pitched me. I was like, no, these things should never go together.
Yes. I am awesome like that. I'm just like the more colors the better. Kind of like Brandon's flower up there, except it's mostly orange.
Don't compare anything to my
it's one color. It's one color though.
What, Brandon's flower?
okay.
Yes, I totally destroyed whatever I was saying there.
Well, thank you guys for joining
Yes.
us, and check us out Thursdays at 9 p.m. Eastern Time.
Yep.
GMT -5.
And on Saturday morning, you can catch me doing Saturday Morning Mayhem, just kind of randomly whenever I wake up in the morning.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun. Check us out, play games, have discussions. A lot more EU people on because it's not 3 o'clock in the morning there.
Sometimes we do impromptu Beyond the Rifts, depending on what happens.
Yeah. Like
So.
when we have multiple patches, that kind of stuff.
So, all right, well, we'll let you guys go.
Have a good night,
Thank
guys.
you so much for joining
Thank you for joining us.
Come visit us at PAX East. Just kidding.
Wait,
PAX.
really?
Like 3 months.